Let's get in Peter Maguire, CEO at XM Australia, who joins in right now pretty late in the day for him, but he's kind enough to be us on our show to try and understand what to do with gold as well as maybe copper. But start off, Peter, good evening to you, of course. And I want to start off with the frenzied buying that we're seeing in gold. Now, is this a de-dollarization piece? Is it the DXY weakness? Is it temporary? Or do you believe there is a structural up move here?
Well, good afternoon, Niraj. Lovely to see you and greetings from Sydney. You know, it's been extraordinary. And I've seen today, it's just showtime, up 2% $3,405. And I don't think anyone could have really thought earlier in the year that you would have seen this dramatic move in this short period of time. Many analysts, Niraj, were saying possibly 3,000, maybe a 3,250 handle by end of year. And here we are, 8 and a bit months out, and you're at 3,400, and you've got an absolute cratered US dollar index sitting now below 98, and a euro, what is it, nearly 116. You can't believe the volatility.
Okay, Peter, Harsh also joining in.
Thank you.
Hi. So Peter, therefore, just two scenarios playing out. One, the likelihood of the US in some form or shape reaching a resolution with various countries with regard to tariffs, and the other not. Do you believe that the run-up in gold outweighs both of these scenarios likely playing out, and the upside now is capped versus the downside?
Well, Hirsch, I think, you know, this is the unknown that we face. We've got 70 or 80 countries, they're saying, that have had some form of negotiation with the Trump administration. That's what we do know. We know that China is very much a work in progress. We also understand that it's the art of the deal. This is typical Trump. High balls and then comes in and cuts a deal. That's what he's done all his life. So that's not unusual. When you listen to the likes of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, that is very much a part of their finance administration. And I feel as though that, yes, you've got some form of de-dollarization, and you've also got, which is going to be very good for their exports, but you've got the other side is going to be, how does that play in to the likes of gold, and whether we see, I think, a hyperdrive to the attraction of the precious metal.
And how should one view silver in this context? When I'm looking at gold is to silver, the delta has gone up substantially, probably standing close to the highs of the decade. Is silver therefore the better pick?
I think so, very much so. And I'll tell you why. That gold to silver ratio, as you just highlighted for all the viewers, it's totally out of kilter. It is not making sense. We've seen a massive investment in the silver market for the best part of 2, if not 3 decades. And this is going to come home to roost. And when it does come home, they're saying that silver is going to take off. And I feel as though that's what you're seeing. Many people are stacking positions in silver and buying physical. And I think that the precious metal for the rest of 25 is going to be a very dynamic market to be a part of, Hirsch.
Okay, interesting. Peter, though, I mean, you know, been hearing this story for such a long time now, right? Somehow doesn't quite play out. So when it comes home to roost, yes, but who knows when?
Well, Niraj, look, I think you can't take your mind away from what we were at October 2023, and remember Israel. I think I even spoke to you about that, and we had a low of $1,807. We're now nearly double that in that 18-month window. There is no doubt that the dollar side of things, what happens as far as the new administration, do we see a 95 handle for the US dollar index? I truly did not think we would hit a 97 handle for the US dollar index this early. I thought you might get there maybe sometime in May, maybe in June, but the way it's going, and if you were to see cuts by the Fed, I tell you what, you'd be looking at a 95 or 94 handle for that US dollar index. So all of these factors need to be very much considered.
Okay. Peter, one last thing, actually, one very quick question from mine. Copper. I wonder if all this chatter around the resurgence, not resurgence really, but a surging demand for copper likely to continue in a meaningful way. You second that, and do you believe that there will be gains to the base metal?
Yes, first off, I do second it, Niraj. Secondly, it's cheap buying compared to where we were in the last month or so at 10,000. Now you're at 9,000 a metric tonne. And I feel as though that there's going to be an increase in demand picture for the copper market very much for the rest of this decade, and then leading into 2030 to 2040. It's going to be huge demand. So that's where the industrial metals and, of course, precious is going to be, I think, the place to be. And yeah, all I'll say is this: there is going to be considerable upside for many of these markets.
Peter, my last question is with regard to the take on China. Now, there's plenty of moving factors geopolitically. And therefore, how does China line up and possibly impact metal prices in general? Not speaking about gold, silver, or copper in particular, just metal prices in general. How do you see a move on that count? What's your perspective at this point, given all the moving parts?
Well, when you're thinking about from a manufacturing standpoint, Hirsch, there has been the demand coming out of China over the last decades has just been one way, and that has been a magnificent climb as far as consumption. I don't expect that to, in the short run, to disintegrate, but I do know that the global demand or global utilization is going to probably increase. The second part is, how does China play? One is the unknown as far as tariffs with the Trump administration, and where does it play in the sense of manufacturing? Do we see all of those goods still being manufactured in China, or does it go offshore to somewhere like America or Vietnam or other countries? This is going to be I think how that plays out is going to be a typical case study. But the known is, I don't think it impacts demand.
Okay. Peter, we'll leave it at that. Thanks much for taking the time out and being with us. Really appreciate your time.
Good to see you, Niraj. Thank you.